All right, let's get started here. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for registering and attending our webinar, a new webinar about smart appliances. Hopefully, this will be a great introduction to this new category. Just some housekeeping before we get started. Please use the Q&A feature in Zoom to send us any questions that come up along the way. We'll dig into those after the presentation. We have a few questions from the registration that we can get to as well. A reminder that all of our previous webinars are available to view on our YouTube channel. So with no registration, so you can head over there to see all of our previous webinars. And with that out of the way, I'll turn it over to Steve Scheinkoff, CEO at Yale.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on another beautiful Thursday. I gotta be honest, this is the most different webinar we've had. I'm even having trouble even titling it. Our smart appliance is smart. I was originally how to buy smart appliances, but whether you know it or not, if you're buying new appliances, you're probably getting smart functionality. And then it became how to use smart appliances. But that wouldn't be relevant for the people that are thinking about buying new appliances. So it's gonna be a little bit of everything. And I thought the title, Are Smart Appliances Smart? Because in some ways, in a lot of ways they are. In some ways, it's a little different than what you think it is. So we're going to eliminate a lot of misconceptions today. And for that, first, before I start, I want to put thanks because this webinar took an extraordinary amount of time to understand and collate. And there are three people that really helped me. Michael Earls runs G Smart HQ. Invaluable resource. Hal Strong runs Bosch Home Connect, Bosch Thermador, their platform, and of course, our chef Saba, who you hear from later, has to use and has been using smart functionality for a couple of years. So she'll be able to tell you specifically how this stuff all interacts. So let's start at the end point. For those of us, maybe I'm dating myself, old enough to remember Star Trek and the Jetsons. Star Trek, Captain Spock would say to the computer, "Make me a pizza," and the pizza would magically appear based on the pizza that he liked. Same thing with Elroy. He asked for candy, the computer would get him that candy. Well, we're not there yet. That's kind of the end game of having smart appliances and smart home really work for you. But let me give you some important dates along the way. You probably won't know them as important, but they're important to me. It's my personal journey with smart appliances. Because I've been so sure for so long. In 2004, LG came out with this refrigerator that was smart enabled. Well, they didn't call it smart back then. It was internet of it. You could surf the internet on this refrigerator. It had an excellent camera. It had a TV. It had a stereo. It had everything. And I was so sure we put it on the floor here in Dorchester where it did not sell. It was $8,000. We actually sold one to our warehouse where it died an unceremonious death in 2017. Here's another one I was sure of, the Lynx My Chef. My Chef has a lot of capabilities now being touted of what you thought based on Star Trek. It would work with your voice. It would tell you when the food's ready. It would integrate with their recipe app. It would know what your medium rare was. But like most expensive toys that are put outside, in 2020 I asked Saba, have we ever used this? And so we went to use it and it didn't respond to voice commands. Now, in fairness to Lynx, we hadn't used it for anything other than just grilling for 4 years. Lynx did take it off market in 2020, but it's really hard to know whether it's because of component issues or whether the product, the sensors inside of it that made it work ever did work. In 2018, January won Best of Show at the Architectural Digest Show in New York City. And they said their stated goal was that you would tell your oven, you want lasagna, and it would know how you like lasagna. It would scan your refrigerator for the ingredients to make your lasagna, send through Dine Dash or any other of the delivery apps the recipe, the ingredients that you needed, cook it the way you want to cook, and then set the dishwasher to the proper cycle. Yet here we are almost in 2022, and we're no closer now than we were then. And it's different now, right? In 2004, we didn't have any smart devices. Now, a lot of us have smart thermostats, the Nest, Simply Safe, and other security systems are operated by your phone. In fact, 28% of people have some kind of smart technology in the home. That number is projected to be almost 50% by 2026. And today, 20% of new home buyers consider smart functionality important. So there is some demand and there is some understanding from the consumer or from your end. And I think the manufacturers have taken notice to a certain degree. In this webinar, we're going to eliminate a lot of misconceptions. We're going to talk about the best brands. We're going to talk about cybersecurity because that's come up in some questions. We're going to talk about what smart appliances can do and what they can't do, and what the hindrance to advances in smart appliances have been, along with the best smart appliances you should consider now. And then we're going to finish it up with whether this should be smart should be part of your core decision. So let's get started. This will be our 10th webinar, as Pat had mentioned, and this is the most different of what we ever done. Most of the other webinars are about how to and how to avoid mistakes. This one is just based on just 100% smart. And for that, let's look at brands. And something significant has happened in smart. Specifically, we look at G Smart HQ, and they've got a lot of commercial applications to their Smart HQ app. But 4 years ago, when they first came out with it, you had a profile app, you had a cafe app, you had a monogram app, you had a G app. So you could have had 4 apps for your kitchen. Now they've combined, as a lot of other companies have, all their appliances into one app. So you don't have 6 apps controlling one appliance. Now you got one appliance. You have one app for 6 appliances. It makes things a lot easier. And a lot of companies have followed suit. LG has the ThinQ app. Bosch has their Home Connect app. Wolf just come up with their app that controls Sub-Zero and their new Cove dishwasher line as well. Samsung has their Smart Things. Interesting enough, you have all these apps, but if you were to go with part Wolf, part Samsung, part GE, you would still need those 3 apps at this particular time. For security, when I read through security, I was reading how refrigerators can send spam email campaigns and possible hacks into your refrigerator. And I will say this, the vulnerable point from what I've read is your router. If there's anything that you could take away from this webinar, it's change the name of your webinar, not for your home address, and change the passcode, because that's the front door to everything. In terms of how appliance apps have gone, I think a lot of them have addressed security. Specifically, the best is G. G has won the Smart Capabilities Award. What that means is they have the same security as financial institutions and banks. So I think they have password protections, but I don't think they're going to be hacking at appliances. They're going to hack them through your router. So change the code and the name of your router when you get home tonight. Let's talk about functionality. Let's talk about what they can do. A lot of it's kind of cool. Convenience. Let's take turkey as an example. Let's just say you're home, you put your turkey in the morning. You can set the turkey to go off at 3 o'clock, have it ready for you at 6. You can also set the temperature remotely as well. Most of these apps can now respond to voice commands. So if you're doing homework with your child in one room, you don't have to get up to set your oven. You could just talk and say, Alexa, set the oven to 375 and have it done for you. It shows time remaining in a cycle. I think this is kind of interesting insofar as we tend to be tethered as a cycle ends to an appliance. With seeing the time remaining, you can do multiple things. Text alerts are this is a nice convenience as well. Dishwasher's done. I like it in laundry because you don't have to go up to your laundry room or go down to your laundry room. It'll tell you when the washer and dryer the cycle's completed. There's a lot of other kind of cool conveniences. Wine refrigerator being too warm, refrigerator being too warm, refrigerator door being open. It's just one less hassle. It deals with from an app standpoint. It gives you status reports. Many of the washers now have automatic dispensers. Will tell you how many, up to 40 loads. Will tell you when you need to refill it. They'll tell you need to change your refrigerator filter, as an example of text reminders. Some of them you could actually look through them. I mentioned in an upcoming blog post, I ordered too much hummus. I had a hummus in my refrigerator. If I could have looked in and seen, maybe I wouldn't have ordered that extra hummus, extra ketchup, or extra mustard. GE is coming out with, it may be available now. You can see into their oven. I think that has more applications. When you look in your oven, maybe you see that souffle boil over or something boil over. You can stop it by shutting off the oven. I think that has some interesting conveniences to it as well. But the best that's coming now is smart diagnosis. Having the refrigerator or the stove understand what the problem is and be able to order the part. Right now what happens is, in services, the biggest part of what we do is you call in and hopefully describe the problem exactly, and when it happens, we have a senior tech that diagnoses it, and then we send it out on a truck. And that is somewhat accurate and somewhat flawed. We need the exact nature of the problem, and if it's on a newer product, the senior tech may or may not get it right. But this has many applications and ramifications insofar as I think it can elongate the life of an appliance, of ordering the right part, maybe sending maintenance alerts as far as, clean the compressor. We do compressor cleanings on Sub-Zero. And we're right now beta testing this with G. We'll be beta testing this with LG, of having the part sent to us, the right part, 100% of the time versus, say, 77%. I think this has a huge future near term. Now let's talk about what they can't do. And many of the functions that you would say are smart, like make me this lasagna, it can't do. Quite frankly, any of these next level programs, there's not the technology, whether it's AI or sensors, to get this done at the current time. Many of the existing apps, you're looking at the Genius Cuisine Center, which you put in the food and how you want to cook. It gives you time, temperature automatically, and it even gives you doneness. It doesn't really work on their app. Many of the other ones don't really work on the app as well, and that segues into poor connectivity and usability. I think some of it is the fact the router may not be in the right place, or you may need a booster to get to your kitchen. But some of it is, a lot of this is so new that I think the usability, quite frankly, needs to be improved on some of these apps. So what is hindering smart appliance advancement? If we're saying in 2018 that the stated goal is to make lasagna by saying lasagna and scanning the ingredients in the refrigerator, why aren't we further along? And the answer to that, I think, is the current situation. It's hard enough to get it's hard to get components for existing products. I think, the new guy saying we need the new technology, when you can't get the existing technology, I think it's been put to the back burner, as probably it should be. I think you're looking at component issues, factory issues, chip issues now just on existing products. I think Smart has become a victim of really, COVID's now will be 2 years in February. So I think there's been a 2-year hiatus on most, even, I would say, any kind of new product improvement slowed, including Smart. The other problem is you're developing the platform and the app, but what platform are you developing for? It's not quite clear who's going to win this, whether it's Google, Amazon, Apple being the biggest, Microsoft, Samsung, LG, another home automation. Because when people think smart home, they think one button. What's that one button going to be? Now, we talked about service. Let's talk about the future of smart as far as what's coming down the pike. And G may have provided an inkling of how far it's going. And they had a proof of concept on their smart hub. We'll get into smart hub in a second. What they do is it's really a front-facing camera. That's what smart hub is, with the recipe availability and a few other features tossed in. But they added a sensor in the bottom, and for the first time was able to sense the food and make recipe recommendations. So we're not where we should be, but we're finally going down the road of, if we have sensors that can do that, it's only a matter of time before you hit a button to get that recipe done, to get for that one button functionality that I think a lot of people associate with smart. So we're going down the road, albeit slowly. And let's talk about the best smart appliances to consider just for smart functionality. Number one is really interesting. It's the Weber Smart Grill because it works. And it's really simple. It's not sensors. It's Bluetooth probes. You put them in, and it will tell you when to turn the food. It'll tell you when to take the food out. It has Weber's got a very strong recipe center, so you can cook by recipe. Although the app can't say you can't do the one touch do the recipe, but it can give you good ideas, and it works based on how you want it, medium rare. It works by temperature, not by sensor. I think laundry all works. And again, this is a really good convenience because you're not trudging down to your laundry room. It can text you when it's over, and it shows time remaining. One of my friends' kids went to college, doesn't know how to do laundry because the laundromats have had this for years, because it's a matter of getting the people in or out by saying you've got 1 minute to get your clothes out, your cycle's done. Now they've used that same technology here. G's got a cool feature insofar as they'll tell you how much soap's in the dispenser, and it will set their top of the line will set the dryer cycle based on the wash cycle as well. LG's wash tower adds that, plus it's got that one-touch functionality based on programs that you've used in the past. It'll remember what you use, and then you just hit a button for that program. Once again, if you like coffee, G's got a very simple Keurig coffee system. You could program it to go off at any time of day. So if you wake up at 7 in the morning, you have your coffee hot and ready for you. And the last is, I'm kind of warming up to this, the Smart Hub. Now the Smart Hub with the sensor is probably not going to come out for probably 2-3 years. But right now, it has a really robust recipe where you can call up the recipe and go frame by frame to cover each recipe. It's also, you can watch Netflix on it. It can also FaceTime as well. But the recipe component's really interesting. You can go frame by frame and really enhance your level of cooking because it has interactions with other recipe apps. Now remember, we all talked about smart functionality, and I hope I didn't disappoint you with what it really can do. But you have a lot of smart functionality on, we don't call it smart. We have a lot of functionality in appliances. Convection conversion buttons have been around for years, 10, 15 years, where you take your recipe, you hit a button, and it automatically converts it to convection. Very simple, but it works. Wolf, Miele, Jenner, the high-end brands all have, you put in the food, how you like it cooked, it'll give you time, temperature. Wolf will even give you rack position. Miele integrates steam in 17 different programs where you can just hit a button and make sourdough bread. Jenner has the cuisine center that will show you the food beforehand, how it looks, so you can have the right mode for you. And those all work. So should you buy smart appliances? I'd say it's a convenience right now. I don't think it's a must-have. I really think you have to check every app. Certainly go to their app stores and see the star ratings and see what the positives and negatives of each. I think within 5 years, we plan on redoing this webinar probably within a year because everything's changed. It's fluid. I think it's nice to have text alerts saying close the door in your fridge, your clothes are done. But I don't think it's game changing just yet. And with that, I'll introduce your team. You know, Pat, Shannon, who did the PowerPoint, and Saba, who actually uses this stuff. We're happy to entertain any questions you have.
Thanks, Steve. Just a reminder, everybody, please use the Q&A to send us any questions that have come up along the way or anything you're curious about. Steve and Saba can dive into anything appliance related here. We did have some questions come in during the presentation. First off, in the future, when residential electricity rates change throughout the day, will smart appliances support shifting the start of a cycle to a less expensive time of day to take advantage of the savings there?
It's hard to do. That's a great question. And I would say for a refrigerator, it's hard to do because refrigerator, it has energy efficiency. But I think in terms of laundry, dishwashers, I think that's ostensibly something they've talked about of monitoring energy cycles and setting the cycle and having an econo cycle for that. That's been mentioned. I don't see that coming probably within 3 years, but it's certainly something they're driving to.
Yeah, and I may be wrong here, but Steve, you'll confirm. I think with some delay starts, you may not be able to do that automatically, but you may be able to schedule that with some appliances.
Yeah, you could do delay start, but I think specifically what time, could an appliance sense when the electricity rates are the cheapest, and then go from there? That can be done too. A lot of this stuff in 10 years will be done. It's just there's been a lot of problems insofar as getting the existing appliances, not so much even smart appliances, even existing appliances have been kind of hard to get. So.
Yep. And next up, have any manufacturers made any type of update promise to make sure a long-lived premium appliances is updated throughout its life?
One thing I forgot to add is when I was talking to Michael Earls from GE, they are launching a new mode. So let's just say you buy a GE profile, right? And he made the example that right before Thanksgiving, they added a turkey mode to 270,000 ranges that didn't have turkey mode before. So you set it, you set the what kind of turkey it is, the weight of the turkey, how you want it done, and you now have an automatic turkey mode, complete with gobble gobble at the end of the cycle. So I think those system updates are there. I think one of the things I didn't mention with the platforms, a lot of the companies are starting to do that. I know air fry, as much as we may not like the mode, air fry has been added to a lot of ranges that have never had air fry. So yes, I think there has been an update. It's not like you're going to get version locked in software. A lot of the companies have updated, especially on the cycle and modes. But that doesn't mean it's going to change how the actual appliance works. You're going to get additional modes and additional functionality, but it's not going to turn a stove into a microwave, say.
Mm-hmm. And then Steve and Saba maybe weigh in on this one. Can we recommend any aftermarket accessories to help make existing appliances smarter?
I can say the one thing that does come to mind is when we referred to the Weber Smart Grill, they do sell an iGrill accessory that if your grill didn't already have that capability, you could buy that as an add-on. So that's definitely something you could look into as an option, and that would integrate with that Weber Connect app as well. As far as built-in appliances, nothing that a manufacturer would make comes to mind, but I know that sometimes they do have external probes if your oven doesn't already come with one that you could look into, but most of the professional ranges that we have come with probes that are integrated into the technology. So that's all I can think of off the top of my head. Steve, do you have anything else?
Have you used that? I know Yumly has made a big deal about their Bluetooth thermometer. Have you ever worked with that?
I have not, but I would love to look into that.
Yeah, they Yumly is a recipe app that used to be
Right.
they used to be with Janair. I guess they broke away, but they came out with a Bluetooth thermometer, and they've got good recipes as well. It'd be interesting to see how they integrate their Bluetooth with their app with their recipes. But that's kind of new. That's the only other one I know.
I mean, that's very interesting. It's something that I'll definitely look into. So as an external app or accessory, that could be a way to go.
And then feel free to add any more questions into the Q&A. We have one more about laundry here. Steve, can you talk about the what's new, latest and greatest with stackable laundry? You went through the wash tower a little bit. What else is around?
Well, laundry is actually the most dynamic product only because it's the most fiercely competitive. I think the wash tower is brilliant because if you're going to stack front load laundry and you're under, say, 5'5" height, you're going to be reaching up for that controls for the dryer. So one of the things that I liked about the Smart Tower, what makes it so smart is they put it in the middle. They make a big deal of AIDD, meaning artificial intelligence. And really artificial intelligence is predictive analytics, right? They have sensors in there that can sense the different kinds of fabrics and wash better. Now, how that differs from an actual cycle that's dedicated to it remains to be seen. But I really like laundry insofar as the one product that I like that nobody really talks about is an automatic dispenser. Now, automatic dispensers release the right amount of detergent at the right time, right? Rather than you throwing the detergent on there. So you get better cleaning. But the one thing it does is people typically in a front load laundry will just launch as much detergent into the dispenser, and that's the wrong thing to do because it only needs a capful. And what happens is that extra detergent over time stays inside the machine and gucks it up for the lack of a better term, eats away at the bearings, and it becomes a very expensive service call. So I like the automatic dispenser. Everything in front load has become. I think of my mom on a top loader with 3 cycles and 2 temperatures. When you get 5 temperatures, 5 cycles, twice the capacity. You have the smart functionality, automatic dispensing. You've got steam. You've got specialized cycles. The Miele compact washer is the most elaborate, interesting appliance we sell insofar as you have a heat pump dryer, which saves a ton of energy, and you have swipe technology, 25 different cycles and a number of different options. And then their automatic dispenser, you can buy like for sensitive skin, for extra soft. You can do caplets where if you wear flannels, they've got a caplet for that. They've got caplets for everything. So you can really personalize how you clean with a Miele if you want to go to that extreme. But laundry's excellent. Anything you buy now is better than anything you've had. The one real problem with front load, and the other thing what GE added was typically the complaint is mold. Mold is a byproduct of residual water. I've always recommended just keep the door open so airflow and it dries and always dry the gasket. What GE did is they put that microban antimicrobial surfacing on the hoses, the dispenser, the gasket, so it eliminates mold completely. So laundry is actually the most exciting, and I think you've actually seen new products develop in laundry where you haven't really seen it in anything else. So I hope that's kind of a longer answer than you probably are looking for, but it's all pretty good.
Yep. Steve, any final words here? Do you want to sum up Smart before we sign off?
I think when you're talking about smart functionality, when you talk to Saab, it's easy to get disappointed because she uses the stuff. And it's kind of wonky, to use a term, as far as you want to hit a button and just walk away. It just doesn't work like that. I think the text alerts, I think there's some really good conveniences, but it hasn't lived up to the kind of when we talk about smart, it hasn't lived up to that moniker as of yet. I think it's exciting what could happen, but right now it isn't something that you need to redo your kitchen to put in smart appliances for just yet. It's not the game changer. It could have been, or should have been, or may still be at this time.
And then I just want to add too, just to clarify, there's smart when it comes to Wi-Fi enabled, and then there's also the smart when you are referring to the guided cooking programs. I think sometimes people confuse the two when you're talking about the appliances like ranges and ovens. So the guided cooking programs are fantastic. If you ever were to purchase a professional range with something like that, those do work. You use the interface to program the oven. You get your recommended temperatures, times, rack placement. But those guided cooking programs aren't necessarily integrated into the Wi-Fi enabled program. So there's a little bit of a disconnect. So just clarifying that that type of smart is different than the Wi-Fi type of smart.
Yeah, and that guided cooking, when you talk about Mila MasterChef, which is really, and we talked to the CEO Mila, they're putting smart functionality as a platform next year. But that MasterChef's 10 years out, and in combining steam and recipes and 100 different recipes, it's not smart enabled, but it's really a great product for people that are looking to do simple, to make cooking simple. There's still a 10-year-old product is better than some of the smart functional products that's out now, I think.
Yeah. So just, I think the word smart, sometimes it confuses people because there's a preconception in your mind of what that technology can actually do, but there's wonderful technology that's already built into these existing appliances that does work, and it's fantastic.
Okay, with that, just want to thank everybody for attending. We will be emailing this recording out to everybody who registered, and this will be posted to our YouTube channel as well, where you can check out all of our previous webinars. We'll also have a brand new article and buying guide coming up about smart appliances as we start to organize all our thoughts there. Thanks everybody for attending, and have a great week.